This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Liz Colburn, host of The Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the first and third Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys.
Coffee with Keith
and Katie on Public House Media.
We are thrilled to be coming back at you from our Chicago Northside apartment. We have our coffee with us.
You?
Hope you have your coffee with you. And we're going to make this quick intro. We're going to go right into our interview with JT.
Yes, this is the third installation of the tour guide series.
The tour guide series. Remind them who we had first for the tour guide series.
So first we had Ice Cream with Joe.
Great episode.
Joe is great. Check it out. We had ice cream.
We had ice cream.
With Joe.
Of course it was great.
He's having ice cream every single day. We had Movies with Robert. We talked about, he's a film critic.
More on the independent films.
More on
than
indie
the blockbusters.
films. Went to the Toronto Film Festival. Yeah. JT is just this amazing, well-rounded person. He's done everything, and he has the coolest stories.
Yeah, he has some great stories. He, not to go too far into it, but he's worked with Disney. He's worked on a cruise line for over a year.
Yep.
Between two contracts, and now he's a tour guide co-worker with Katie at Wrigley Field. So he has some pretty good stories. One of the greatest guys I ever met.
He's the nicest guy.
If you cannot find something to enjoy about talking with JT, I don't know. I don't know what you. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. But we had a great time chatting with him. We let him go for a little bit because he had some great stories. So stick around. We have a great interview with JT coming up right after this. How's it going, everybody?
Hey guys.
Coffee with Keith.
And Katie.
And JT.
JT is our guest. He's our third guest for the tour guide series.
Tour guide series. JT, you're on your second season, right?
I am, yes. Second season with the Cubs.
Ooh. So how have you liked it so far?
I've really, really enjoyed it. It's one of those things where being a tour guide is just that. I tell people it's like that perfect gig where you just get to talk about cool things for 90 minutes, show people a cool place, and just do it over and over again. So I really like it. It's fun. It's fun.
But you have a strong background in this, correct? You went to college where you were a theater major, and you have a lot of other tour guide slash showman experience.
Yeah. My life experience so far has been, some might say random, but I'm like reaching that point where it's like seeing like it all accumulating to make sense in some ways. But yeah, I graduated from college 2014. West Texas A&M University, go Buffs.
Okay.
And then I got on with Walt Disney World from there. And I performed at Disney World for a few years. And then I got on with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And I sailed the seas as a dancing sailor for a little bit. And then I ended up in Chicago. And now we're here. And ta-da.
With Wrigley, you can't see it, but Wrigley is behind us.
Yeah, right there.
You can if you move, you can see the light poles.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. So believe us, it's there.
Yeah.
So you worked with Disney.
Yeah. What did you do at Disney?
So at Disney, I worked as a character performer / host / parade performer. So it's got to have the fun of bringing some of your magical Disney friends to life. And then also I hosted shows at Epcot on a few different things like environmental technology, fire safety, being prepared for storms and hurricanes, and useful stuff like that. And I also did the Main Street Electrical Parade.
like some sort of seminar on electricity. That's something everyone wants to go to while at Disney World, right?
Oh, it was at Epcot, and it was the thing where it's like, the prototype community of tomorrow. And so, like, there's some things. My position for hosting these shows, it was the best way to get air conditioning at Epcot. It was an indoor venue, and so I'll be honest, they were some boring shows. Most of them are actually not there anymore for a good reason.
Right.
But it was definitely prefer tours to those situations. They were, just very sponsorship heavy, where it's like, and you'll see behind me these Boral Pure roof tiles brought to you by Boral. And you're just like, I'm just selling these things. That's all I'm doing.
So,
as a character performer, can you tell us what character you performed?
Technically, I cannot, but I
Okay.
can say that I was friends with Goofy, Tigger, and Baloo. So,
Awesome.
friends with them. So,
We'll take it from there.
exactly.
okay, awesome. And which friend did you prefer the most?
I think my favorite friend, Goofy is my favorite, but personally, I really enjoy being friends with Tigger, because it was a very comfortable, it was very light, very freeing, you just get to hop around, and so, really enjoyed that, so.
Right, now, I don't want to get too involved with this, but I imagine it takes a part of acting where you have to get into the idea of, I'm this character, so you probably have to carry yourself a different way,
Yeah.
you have to, wave a different way, act a different way, correct?
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't speak.
Right.
So it's all strictly physicalization. So it's one of those things where it is the best workout you'll ever have in your life. Because, of course, you're sweating profusely the whole time. And you're just like, you've got to be hopping and balancing and so excited. And then once you get your break, you just, just collapse a little bit and just stay on this couch as long as you can. And then you rally and go back at it and just, best shape of my life. Best.
Awesome. And do you like Disney? Are you tired of it?
I do. I'm a bigger Disney fan, more obsessed now than whenever I started working there. Whenever I started working there, I was like, oh, I like these movies, they're okay. But now I'm like, oh my goodness, Christopher Robin comes out July 17th. Good. I'll be there. Mark your calendar. We're gonna cry. Here we go. So.
And moving on from Disney then, you said you were with Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines.
So what did you do there?
So there, being on the cruise ships, you have so many different responsibilities where you just overall my contract was just entertainment department. So it's one of those things where you're dancing in a few different show things, you're hosting a few different things here and there, you're bringing some of their DreamWorks characters to life. And so cruise ships are that fun experience where you get to do pretty much everything. And your performer, you also have emergency responsibilities as well. So it's that weird, it's I'm gonna be dancing in this show this evening, but I'm also your drill team captain. So yeah, it was fun last night, but this is serious. So
You're
Playtime
the
is over.
expert.
right, it was fun,
There
but
you
now
go.
we're boarding a lifeboat. We are going to do this efficiently and safely. Yeah.
And then moving on from Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, so I did 2 contracts with the Royal Caribbean. I did it on the Freedom of the Seas and the Harmony of the Seas. And it was cool because whenever I did the Harmony of the Seas, it was their inaugural season, and they were the largest ship in the world.
Oh, wow.
And so we did this cool world tour kind of, where we were in the Mediterranean. And then honestly, this same time of year, beginning of October, we did a 9-day crossing from Barcelona, Spain to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So 9 days at sea. And it's so cool looking back because I've successfully crossed the Atlantic Ocean on a boat. But I don't ever need to do that again.
Right.
It's we did it once. Check it off the list.
So how long were there contracts for working on the cruise?
Yeah, it was an 8-month contract. And so it's one of those things where 8 months, it seems long, and then you actually live it, and it is long, but like it flies by. You meet amazing people, you make good friends, but then at the same time, like, you're living on a boat for 8 months.
Yeah.
Like the rain. Oddly, like the one thing that I like missed so much was simply like being able to like be in a bathroom where you had space. 'Cause, like, the bathroom was just like the size of this coffee cup, and like you're like, oh, I'm on the toilet and in the shower at the same time. It's just like, whoa, where else is this possible? And it doesn't need to be possible. It's
Did you have to stay in your room, like, or could you mingle? Like, could you go up on deck and take part in activities?
We as performers were lucky, where we had like privileges where we could go eat in this special restaurant. We can go to like check out this like ice show, or go like watch this and that and stuff. So we did like get to go all around the boat and stuff. But then there's like sometime we had to like be dressed to impress.
Sure.
And you have to have like your name tag on, so you can like answer questions, give assistance. So like there's sometimes, for example, where like it'd be formal night, so like the attire was like tuxedos, and you'd be like, I am craving a cheeseburger, and suddenly you're sitting at Johnny Rockets wearing a tuxedo, and you're like, this is really off, but I was required to do it. So you're like, I would go with like my friends, and like they're like ball gowns, and I'm in my tuxedo, and we're like, oh, do we have another thing of cheese fries, good sir? And you just like feel as out of place as humanly possible.
So moving on from that, now you're with the Cubs, and you've been with them for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And what's been the most enjoyable part with the Cubs so far?
It's funny. A big confession time. I wasn't originally a Cubs fan before I started working for the Cubs, because like being raised in Texas, I grew up a Rangers fan. Yeah. And so it's like I was up here, and like the job opportunity came up, and like I was like, yeah, we'll learn a lot really quickly. And like I'm a big Cubs fan now. It's one of those things where like Rangers are my American League team, Cubs are my National League team, but like with the Cubs you just have like history, which is such a cool thing. And like just being able to like honestly like every single day you learn something new. Whereas like it's like we have amazing tour guides, and some of them like have passions for like statistics and numbers, and some have just been Cubs fans since they were born, and it's like everyone has these stories, and like it's so cool too. Like one of my favorite things is like hearing people's stories for where they were for Game 7 of the 2016 series, because for me that was actually when we were crossing the Atlantic going from Barcelona to Fort Lauderdale.
Really?
And I had this situation where we had unlimited Wi-Fi since it was a crossing, but the like Fox Sports website would not say that I was in a valid location. They're like we can't verify where you are. I'm like, I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And so for Game 7, at first I found this weird like video feed that was the Murphy's feed. And in the Murphy's feed, the game was on in the corner, and so I was like trying to focus in on the TV in the corner. But what I ended up doing, I legitimately FaceTimed my parents, and my mom and dad were sitting on the couch, and they held the phone to the TV screen. So I watched it via FaceTime in between my mom and dad on the couch.
That's awesome.
Like the most like inefficient way to watch a game, and it's like one of my favorite. Like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else for Game 7 other than like sitting on the couch with my mom and dad, but in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Now I doubt that your parents had the express written
that warning, this is exclusive property. I'm like, well, Fox, you should say the Atlantic Ocean is an actual place, because it exists.
Yes.
So
you
take that,
us
Fox
to this.
Sports, Joe Buck.
So, other than the Cubs, though, you have something else going on. You have a show going on right now that Katie and I were privileged enough to go see tonight. Tell us about that.
I perform quite a bit doing improv around the city and stuff. I do a few different things at I.O. and at Second City. One of the groups I perform with is called Fancy Mustard, and we're a fun team. We have a fun format called The Event, which is like a long-form improv thing. But then also, we've got a show tonight. Our tour guides are some very talented tour guides, and two of us, Kenny and Jeannie, it's funny, they actually both worked on cruise ships for Norwegian Cruise Line. And so we've like bonded over our like the war stories from working on a cruise ship. We've always joked around about like wanting to do an improv show together. And we finally got the opportunity. So tonight, for the first time, we're doing an improvised ESPN 30 for 30.
So
and
good.
So like one of my favorite like parodies. There's this one that's like a parody of Space Jam as a 30 for 30, and like I just think it's like amazing. And so it's like we're like, well, let's just make one up. And so we're doing it tonight for the first time.
That's great.
And we're so excited because like literally that's what I love about improv. Is like it's like that weird like Michael Scott quote where he's like, yeah, lots of times I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. So this is like literally like, yeah, we're gonna start a half-hour show and we don't even know where it's going.
Right.
So it's just like we're all on this train and to see where we end up. So
Are you now? Do you have? Is it a long run? Is it just a one-time only thing?
This is just a one-time only thing for right now. But if we have is well attended, if it goes well, if they don't kick us out, it could be a long-time run thing starting out. So
awesome.
So when people come to Chicago, is there a regular time they can see you, like always Thursday nights, or?
We're kind of all over the place right now. We kind of just like have the philosophy of like any chance to perform is a good chance to perform.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like bouncing all over. Kind of all over the place. We have Facebook pages for like Fancy Mustard and stuff. And we just kind of, if you want us to do a show, we'll come do a show. Rooftop show, go. Let's,
All right. Well, now that you mentioned it on Facebook, what are some social media addresses and your handles that people can reach you guys and check you out at?
So for Fancy Mustard, we're on Instagram and Facebook, both as Fancy Mustard. And I'm on Instagram as all lowercase, JT Sherrer, SHERRER 92.
We're going to put it at the bottom of the screen.
Put it at the
Technology.
It's going to go right there.
It's going to be amazing.
So you guys don't have to rewind.
Call this number now.
I'm pretty artistic with the Instagram skills, too. Like a nice little Nashville filter every now and then. So.
All right, great. Well, JT, thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me. I'm so
So
glad
much fun.
Yeah, and my pumpkin spice latte was delicious.
I didn't even have to ask him. He knew what I was going to ask
There you
before we
go.
ended the show.
For those who don't like pumpkin spice lattes, you're missing out.
You are indeed.
There's
It's
something-
funny, my nickname is actually Ashley, because whenever pumpkin spice latte season rolls around, I go full-on white girl. Just flannel shirt, PSL, we are in for the afternoon.
All right. Now I don't want to age myself too much, but now that you mentioned Ashley, did you watch Recess when you were young?
I did, because I was the biggest fan of, let's wait for it, TJ,
Jetwell.
just like that.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness! You
it's-
turn your hat around and you become him.
Suddenly I'm bearded TJ. That's crazy.
Right. Now we're just doing improv. Right
Exactly.
now.
This is
That's how
what
it
it
goes. You make it up. It's funny. It's showbiz.
Right. All right. Well, JT, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
This has been so much
All
fun.
All right. Coming back next, third segment of the show. As always, Katie and I will do our predictions next on Coffee with Keith.
And Katie.
JT, thanks again.
Yes, thanks for having me. Thanks.
Welcome back. That was a great interview with JT.
We had a great time interviewing him.
He was awesome.
Great guy. Great guy.
Check out his handles. We'll put them at the bottom of the screen.
Right there.
Right here. Keith will. But for everyone's favorite part of the show, predictions.
Prediction time. Of course, we're Packer fans, so we predict how the Packers will do and review how the Packers have done.
Yep.
Packers lost against the Redskins. Neither of us did very well. I predicted the Packers would win 28-17.
Yep.
And Katie predicted
I predicted 14 to 10.
14 to 10.
Yep.
Packers lost 31 to 17. By the rules that we will go with, since we both picked the Packers to win, Katie was closest to a Packer loss with her point spread being only 4 points. So, Katie wins this one.
I'll take it.
All right.
But the Packers lose, we all lose.
Yeah. But maybe the Packers have a better chance this upcoming week as they play the Bills. The Bills, not very good. However, they really handed it to the Vikings last week. So the Bills are currently hot against the NFC North. So
It's
we'll see how
season.
it goes. It is a weird season so far.
No one's doing what they're supposed to, which is why we play, I guess.
It's what makes sports exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so Bills at Packers. Katie,
Yes.
what's the score going to be?
Packers are going to kill them. Roll right over them.
Roll.
Yep.
Packers are going to roll.
Yep. Bounce back from this Redskins loss. 35-15. Packers.
35 to 15. 35 to 15 Packers. 35, fine. 15, why 15?
Because I like obscure numbers.
Yeah, she just picks numbers that a team would really never score.
It's possible.
It's definitely possible. The only score not possible in football to end with is 1.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right. There you go.
That
A
makes
little
sense.
factoid for you. Okay. So 35 to 15.
Yep.
Packers over
Round
Bills.
some.
I will say 28 to 14 Packers. Very basic score.
Very basic.
28-14 Packers. Packers at home. Neither of us have picked the Packers to lose yet.
No.
Katie will always pick the Packers to win. I'm sure I'll pick the Packers to lose eventually this year. But right now, I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll get it done against Buffalo at home. We'll see. Only way to find out, see how we did, is to join us again next week for more Coffee with Keith and Katie on Public House Media. Everybody have a great week, and we will see you later.
Bye, guys.